December 2021, you're quoted saying, like, I've accepted that in the minds of the overwhelming majority, I am irredeemable, which I think that's really sad, though. I don't think that you actually believe you're irredeemable.
Oh, I do. That's why I recently redeemed myself. When I stopped expecting or truly wanting it from the outside world, there was this shift where I was like, you know what? You're never going to get it. So it was a process from that point to the point where I'm at now, where I was like, well, you know what? I don't need it.
Yeah.
I have redeemed myself.
Yeah. So I think when we're looking back at the early 2000s, when we see like maybe the contrast between your posting and some of the publishers who were posting about the same stories, I think
not even publishers, but even television.
Yeah.
I mean, that infamous Diane Sawyer interview was included in that Framing Britney Spears documentary. So many, quote, problematic clips from The View.
Yeah.
It was a very different time for the entirety of media, not just specifically celebrity media.
I think I agree with what you're saying there. The part that I think is different is that like Us Weekly wasn't posting like bitch, whore, hoe,
no.
slut. Like those are the words that like, you know, I think separated you from them. Or
I was the most shocking on purpose.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it was designed to get a reaction out of people.
Did you know?
Like I said, I was calculated. I was strategic.
Very clickbait-esque.
Yes.
Did you even like know that term back then?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even like that term. For me, it was more
trolling.
Like, no, not trolling. I never trolled.
Who was the one that said you're like the biggest troller? Her name was like
Mila Kunis.
Yeah, Mila Kunis. Yeah, she said you were like a huge troll.
That was flattering.
Yeah.
I invented trolling, she said.
Yeah.
To me, a troll is somebody who, like that Ava Louise girl. She's like a peer of yours. She's a troll where she'll like make things up.
Yeah, quite literally make.
Yeah, literally make things up. If I said something, I believed it. I could troll, but I was not a troll. I could troll as a verb, but I was not a troll, the noun.
Yeah.
Like the perfect example of a way to troll as a verb. Sometimes, and I think this is just silly, lighthearted fun. Like there was a period of time there where Kim Kardashian was posting tons of naked photos on Instagram. And whenever she would do that, I would always troll her photos by saying something totally innocuous. Like she's naked and I'm like, oh my God, the paint on that wall is so cute. What color of paint is that?
And are you saying trolling. That in like a comment form or like making a story about that?
No, in a comment on her post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your stories aren't necessarily like nowadays like much trolling in general.
I don't think so.
It's kind of almost like just like a lot of updates. Because I noticed you post a lot on your website.
Yeah.
So do you still post like the pictures where you draw cum on their face?
No, we don't do that.
So can we talk about that? Because I just don't even know how you mentally got there. Like when did you first do that? Like what inspired you to like draw the cum dripping out of there?
I mean, I first starting with drawing on the photos because I've always been a good marketer. I didn't go to business school, but I think I just had instincts that helped me along the way. And I knew that if I doodled on my pictures, if people shared them across the internet and social media, that everybody would know where they're from.
Kind of like a meme.
Yeah, but the doodle was iconic and a signature to me. Nobody else was doing that.
Yeah.
So everybody would always know where that photo was from and where they can go to get more information. And, and once again, I'm not blaming the internet or social media, but like it could happen with others on apps or on the web. When I first started, it wasn't as toxic as it became. It progressively became that.
Yeah.
So
when you were first drawing the cum, were you kind of like doing it in a lighthearted way? And then it became kind of like
it was not even lighthearted. I'm like, this is so stupid. And it made me laugh. Like the stupidity of it all. Like, this is so dumb. And funny to me.
And it's like nobody was really safe from it. So many people got the Perez Hilton cum shot on their face. So let's talk a little bit about Britney Spears, because Britney Spears has been a big part of like my career on YouTube. I kind of started with talking about the Free Britney movement, and then I've grown into other topics and gone from there. I think you've alluded to this earlier on when you said that you just like liked the feeling of like getting the attention for posting these things. But my question is like, do you have like a deep hatred for Britney Spears?
Not
or did
at
you just
all.
love the attention you got from making those stories?
I never hated her. Even when I was hypercritical, I was always justifying it by saying, well, this is what a lot of people think.
Yeah.
Same with Diane Sawyer when she was interviewing Britney in that infamous interview, and she brought up the driving with the child on her lap without a seatbelt. You know, she shared thoughts that a lot of other people held.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy, though, to forget that and give me a lot more power than I ever had.
Mm.
Did I make things worse for Britney Spears? Yes. But am I responsible for her being in a conservatorship? No. Britney Spears has severe mental health issues.
Do you still make fun of those nowadays, or do you
make fun of what?
I don't know. I took a quote from an article. He called her a bad mother, criticized her appearance,
Back in
and
the
made
day,
repeated. Yeah, but you don't do that anymore.
No.
Yeah, because I saw you just recently covering the drama with her children, and things like that, which I want to talk about in a second. But I have to mention, I have to like know where your mind was when Heath Ledger died, and you made a shirt.
I didn't make a shirt. Then that it doesn't make things better, but
okay, yeah.
I didn't make a shirt.
Did you mock up a shirt or something?
No. Here's what I did. Back in the day, I purposefully wanted to upset people. So I had this ongoing series that I used to do called If You're Easily Offended, Do Not Click Here. So I would purposefully link.
Like a column of like random stories that you would.
It was always an article with no photo. It was just an invitation for crazy people to click on the link and see what the most offensive thing of the day was.
Yeah.
So I linked to a t-shirt that somebody was selling.
Oh.
So I wasn't selling.
You didn't like sell it and make
No,
money
I didn't
off it.
make it. I didn't sell it. I linked to it purposefully trying to be offensive. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
And it definitely was offensive.
Yeah.
And that's kind of gotten
It kind of sucks at how it's like now. Yeah. Because now when I looked it up
years.
this morning, they source it as your work, you know?
Yeah, no, that's not true.
Yeah. There is so much out there just about you in general. Like just, it's crazy the amount of press that you've had for, you know.
Well, I've been doing it for
decades
nearly
now.
20 years now.
Yeah. So what do you think about the situation right now with Britney's children? So the children have just done a 60 Minutes with Kevin Federline, and they're supposedly speaking out against their mom, and now Britney's speaking out against them.
I think.
Do you think the kids are just? Because you said for years how bad Britney was as a mother.
I think everybody should believe everybody, if that makes any sense.
I think there's some truth to every side, you know?
I think, when we hear from Britney, we should believe her. And I also think if we're going to extend that grace to her, we should extend that same grace to her children. And it's been very interesting to hear and see the response to Jaden, her son, speaking out, and seeing all these Britney fans name calling her son and not believing him and all of that. I think you can believe both. And the truth is maybe on one side or the other, or perhaps the truth is somewhere in the middle. Or they both have that same truth and they just view it differently.
Yeah, different perspectives,
Yeah.
life experiences. So when you were back then, like, claiming that she was a bad mother, take away her kids. I mean, I found actually, you know what I did? I went to your page today and I looked up like Britney Spears articles, and I would go to like the URL and I'd type in like page 400 to take me back to like 2007.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like hundreds of pages of stories. And I found a few just like in July 2007, you went so hard on her. It's like almost every article, bad Britney, take her kids away. Doesn't Britney behave like a woman that has severe psychological issues? I think this bitch is totally bipolar and she's manic. So as like, did you, and it's fine if you, like, I feel like a lot of the things you've said in the past, like you said it because shock value, whatever. Did you actually feel this way in this moment that Britney was like a terrible mother and take away her kids?
I did. And like I said earlier, I've realized, A, you don't always have to say everything you think, or B, if you're still going to share your opinion, there are less harmful ways to do that.
Yeah.
Like for example, this week or when, recently, Kanye West has been very vocal on Instagram. And for me, that's been a delicate topic to address. And I've been very mindful of how I've discussed it. Not to toot my own freaking horn, but I think I've done a better job than your average person, because there's so many people saying things like, oh, Kanye is crazy. He's so crazy. But using that C word as a real negative, when, Kanye has mental health issues, and people speculating about his mental health. Like, I don't know if he's having a mental health breakdown right now. I don't know what he's going through. I don't know if Kanye is, quote, off his meds. Mm-hmm. Do you know if he's off his meds? What I do know is what he's sharing with the world, very private information about his ex-wife and his children. And, you know, I learned from my past, and I could still have my opinion, but I try to express it in ways that are not cruel and won't be damaging to others. And like I said, sometimes I'll still make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'm human, but I put more thought into things now.